Hey, this is Small Biz Doc from the Small Biz Doc channel. I wanted to welcome you guys to the channel again. And I was going to share with you guys a little bit tonight. Last week, I had the opportunity to share some emotional challenges that I was having with everything going on. And you can go back to look at my previous channel, my previous post that I did last week, and it was entitled Maintaining Your Mental Health. And in that video, I was talking about a lot of the mental challenges that men have, and particularly black men have. And I suggest you to go back and check out that video because it was pretty enlightening, and I got a whole lot of emails and things about that, how people were saying, you know, it was really good and it really touched them. A lot of men were telling me that, you know, I'm going through the same thing, but, you know, I didn't think anybody else was. So, you know, I let them know that they're not alone. So this week, what I was going to do was, I call it Mental Health Monday. This week, what I was going to do was going to touch on the women's aspect and maybe share some things about, you know, women that may be going through the same thing, but how they do a little bit differently. So I was going to share a little bit about that. So to begin with, this is a Small Biz Doc channel, and normally I talk about business, wealth, and motivation and marketing. But I'm going to be trying to do mental health series because that's a lot of things that's going on right now with COVID. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I'm the youngest of 7 children, five sisters and 1 brother. So there were 7 of us growing up. Grew up in Philadelphia, in the Germantown section of Philadelphia. So I know a lot of you guys know me from growing up. Our family we had an interesting family. We didn't have a perfect family growing up. We didn't have a lot of money. With 7 kids, of course, we didn't have a lot of money. So, you know, things weren't always perfect. My mother was in an abusive marriage. I remember times waking up in the morning, and I remember one time in particular I came downstairs and my father was choking my mother. I'm just being transparent. Those are things that I grew up with, just real life. Remember, you know, my father hitting my mother and things like that. I remember my father beating the siblings and things like that. So that was kind of growing up, what it was like, you know, for a certain part of my life growing up in our household. And finally, I remember waking up one morning when I was younger, pre-elementary or elementary school, waking up that morning, and I go in my mother's room. You know, my mother says, "We're not going to school. You're not going to school today." And I was like, "Where are we going?" And then she said, "You know, we're leaving." And, you know, that was the day that my mother had left my abusive father. I'll never forget that. It was a rainy day. You know, my grandmother was there helping my mother move. And my mother took all of the kids and moved out and moved into a house, moved to another house in another area of Philadelphia. Another area of Philadelphia. And you know, she was the single parent from that time on. Single parent raising 7 kids, and you know, it wasn't easy. I remember the same thing. I had a sister that was in an abusive relationship. Her husband used to beat on her all the time. Broken arms, hospitalization, all kinds of things like that. And as a result, today that sister is mentally, emotionally, and it's hard to put into words. She's just not, she's emotionally dependent, not on drugs or anything like that, but she's not there emotionally. She's devastated emotionally. She's on medication. She's just not who she was. And my sister went to school to be a dental hygienist. Was working, graduated, and everything like that. You know, got a job as a dental hygienist. But as a result of that abusive domestic violence, It pretty much destroyed her life mentally, and she kept going back and things like that, and it didn't turn out good for her. So as a result of that, she is completely mentally not in a place where she should be at this time in her life. And that's kind of what it was like growing up as the younger part before my mother left my father, and then growing up with my sister going through the same domestic violence, but it was probably worse. So when I say the mental challenges that we have, women have mental challenges and mental stress that is completely different from what men have. Men compartmentalize, and women, they're emotional, so they just release that. And that it comes across in different ways. It can come across as sharp anger. It can come across as emotional crying, whatever. Women are just different. They can come across as physically combative. But at the same time, they're just different, two different aspects. But we both have the challenges of those mental health situations within our lives. And I know a lot of people label Black women as angry Black women and things like that. And I've heard that myself. I've even used the phrase a couple times. But I don't think there is an angry Black woman. I think that women have challenges. Women have been hurt through relationships. Women have been physically, emotionally, sexually abused in different things. And that hurt just comes out in anger sometimes, because that's just the way that they release it. Usually if a woman is angry to that point, and it's coming out of them most of the time, and that's part of their physical, their emotional makeup, it's because of something that happened to them in their life, be it a bad relationship, be it abuse, or be it the stresses of life, raising single parent, raising kids, things like that. When my mother was raising the 7 of us, it was a different world back then. Right now, it's a completely different arena for a single parent than it was years ago. It's much harder now. Raising children by yourself, it's a completely different world, and all of that can play on the mental and emotional wellness of women, whereas men have different types of mental and emotional things that are going on with them, and we compartmentalize and we hold things in. With women, they have a lot of the same burden, not much more, because of the aspects of children, the aspects of emotionalism and things like that. They carry so many more burdens, and as a result, they release those burdens. They release those emotional burdens in a different way than men do. And just because a woman is angry or something like that at that time, that doesn't make that an angry Black woman stereotype. And I hope you guys can understand that. A woman may be going through a challenge, financially, emotionally, with the children, with stress of the job, racially, all these things going on with race right now. And, all those burdens on a woman just releases a lot of those things. And sometimes it comes out in that way of anger, but that's not who she is as a woman. That is a result of a situation or something that's going on with them. Just like men do it. The men compartmentalizing, not being open, not talking about things, not sharing or not showing themselves vulnerable. That's the way that we relate to things when we have things going on. We bring it all in. So it's a really challenging thing, because you figure when you have this man that has those emotional burdens, and you have this woman that has those emotional burdens, and they both come together, and they're working, but it's always going to be some kind of some challenges there. It's always going to be some challenges there. And that's because we have so much that we're carrying around, especially now with COVID. COVID's bringing out a whole lot of those different challenges that we normally have, but we don't normally see them because we're always working and doing all of these different things on the outside of the house. But now, since a lot of people are more enclosed, a lot of those things are making it more challenging, to be under the same roof. You have the stress of the kids, the stress of the jobs, the stress of COVID. And it's bringing out a lot of those things, those little things that didn't mean anything before. Now they're just, making it even harder to get along. So, but from women, and guys can comment in the notes, women have challenges that men don't have. Like I said, with the children, they have challenges. They have challenges physically, with things. Women have a lot more burdens than men. So as a result, that burden and that stress is going to come out in very different ways. So just because a woman comes out is an angry in a situation or something like that, or it doesn't make that woman necessarily an angry Black woman. It makes that woman angry at that time because something's going on. And we don't know what's going on. Like I said, with my mother, she was a single parent in a domestic violence relationships. And, there may have been times when she came across as a angry Black woman. We don't know. You didn't know that. You didn't know that she was being beaten in marriage. You don't know that. Same thing with some of the women that you meet. They may come across as angry. We don't know. You don't know what it's like for them growing up. Maybe their father did beat their mother in the same thing, or maybe they were in an abusive relationship. You just don't know. So we can't assume that title of angry Black woman. I think that it may be a hurt woman, it may be a struggling woman, it may be an overburdened woman, but it's not necessarily an angry Black woman. Okay, and that's one thing that we can learn together, and hopefully that will help us to better understand them, why they're going through what they're doing, or why they're acting the way that they are. Just like men, why are they acting the way that they do, compartmentalizing things like that. It's the same dichotomy, but it's just a different way, a different means of handling those burdens or that stress and things like that. So I just want to stress again, there's no such thing as an angry Black woman. It's something that's brought that out of her, and that's the way that she emotionalizes it. And if you guys can relate to that, or if you have questions about that, shoot and put it in the comments. I'd like to hear, from some of the women out there how they feel. The main thing is, it comes back to the same thing with the men, is how do we deal with that? Now, I'm not a psychologist, or I'm not a counselor or anything like that, but I know that talking about those things definitely makes a difference. It made a difference for me when I was going through my thing, when I'm going through things emotionally, to talk to someone. And just like I told the men, that they have find someone that you can confide in. It's the same thing for the women, but it's even that much more, because the women have more burdens and more situations than we do. Especially when you factor in children, and you factor in, marriage, or you factor in an abusive marriage, or past hurts and things like that. Guys can get past hurts like that, but women, they don't get past them easily, because it's just their makeup. I mean, they're emotional, and they hold those things in. They hold them in. But the main thing is, that we talk to someone and get those things out, and find out where the healing begins, and same thing for the men, but like I said, for women, it's a little bit more different. Talk about the things, find out how you can relieve yourself of that mental stress, because, it starts to affect you after a while. Physically, you get physical illness and hypertension and things like that. So you have to reach a point where, you can find someone that you can talk to relieve yourself of that stress and those burdens, because there's a lot of burdens out there right now, between the job market, raising children, depending on your relationship. We don't know. Some women could be in an abusive relationship. We just don't know. And then you factor in the children, all the stages of the children. Most of the times, the mothers take the brunt of the challenges of the children. You know what I mean? It's just the way it is. The fathers do step in and bring discipline at sometimes, but as far as the brunt of the emotional things with the children, most of the times, the mothers take care of those, and that's one more added thing that they have on them. That adds to that stress of life, that daily stress of life. So I'm going to say the same thing. There's no such thing as an angry black woman. There may be a hurt black woman. There may be a black woman having challenges. There may be a black woman in an emotionally abusive relationship. We just don't know, and we just can't assume, and we just can't label them like that. I used to say that, but I've grown up since then. It's just not like that. And actually, because I've learned from my growing up with my mother and with my sisters who went through those things, the damaging effects of in this case, an abusive relationship can have throughout that person's life. My sister will never be the same. She was an honor student. She graduated college as a dental hygienist, and now she's like barely functioning. And all of that is a result of physical and emotional mental abuse. So first things first, if you're in an abusive relationship, get help. Don't assume it's going to get better. Get help and get out. That's the only way that I can put it. No man should ever put his hand on a woman. That's cut and dry. Nothing else to that. And the effects of that are far beyond just that physical black eye or that bruise, whatever. The effects of that go on through that woman's life, just like it did with my sister and with my mother. They carry that around with them the rest of their life. And I would hate to see another woman end up like my sister did, with the mental scars and the deterioration mentally, dependent on medication, in and out of mental facilities and things like that. You deserve better. Just like I told the men, the men are good men. You are good women, and you don't deserve to be in any type of relationship where you're being abused physically, emotionally, or mentally. Get out, do it for the sake of your own well-being, so that you can live your life for your family and for your children and be the best that you are. That's the most important thing. The other most important thing, those labels that they give you, that's not you. You're not an angry black woman. You are a strong woman. You are a woman that's been through a lot, and you're still here. Just like I said, the black men, you are good black men. You women, you're a good women. Take that and hold on to that. You're a good, beautiful woman. And just because other people don't see that beauty in you, you have to see it in yourself. So know who you are. Know that you're greatness, and there's greatness inside of you. Okay, that's the one thing I want you to walk away from this. And the other thing is, find someone to talk to. Be it a girlfriend, or someone you can confide in, to get that, because sometimes life gets overbearing. And if you can't talk to someone about those things, we carry all that around. So at this stage, with everything that's going on in the world, we don't need that. I don't need that. You guys don't need that. There's great things out there for you, and you can't achieve those great things if you have all of these burdens that you're carrying around with you. So you need to release those burdens. Talk to someone. If you can get counseling, get counseling. If you have friends that you can confide in, find those friends that you can confide in. That's the most important thing. So you're a beautiful woman, inside and out, regardless of what people say. So this is Small Biz Doc. I just wanted to share that was on my mind today. Because we have to get through this thing together. The men have issues, and of course the women have issues as well. It's both of us, and none of us are perfect, but we have to solve our issues and come together as a people, and then do better, so that we can do great things and we can rise up to the place where we need to be. Okay. So this is Small Biz Doc. I hope you like and subscribe to the channel. I hope you really leave some comments, because I like to hear what you guys are thinking. I know there's a lot more input out there than I can possibly bring forth, and hopefully some of you guys can enlighten me a whole lot, because I'm just sharing from my heart. But I mean, there's probably someone out there who's been through the same thing. So just leave some comments out there. Make sure you like and subscribe the videos. That way, every time I get a video, it will come up for you. So remember, Small Biz Doc. And I hope you guys have a wonderful Thanksgiving. We have a lot to be thankful for. Family, friends, life with COVID going on every day. We have to make sure that we live each day to the fullest, because tomorrow is not promised. I've had relatives that passed away from COVID-19. I know everyone knows someone who has been affected by it. So enjoy your holidays, and remember to like and subscribe. This is Small Biz Doc. I hope this has blessed you guys as much as it's blessed me. Have a great day.